Hey guys, Tom Barton here from TomBartonSports.com. We're going to get into a topic that I don't know if I'm going to be able to control my emotions today with, and that is out there to all you Derek Jeter haters. We're going to get into this. Guys, if you like the channel, please make sure you subscribe. If you like this video, comment below. I want to hear your thoughts on everything, and hit that like button, that little thumbs up button. That always helps. All right, guys, look. You want to go check out TomBartonSports.com? That's great. Tom Barton Sports over on Twitter, TomBartonSports@gmail.com. I am sure I'm going to get a lot of responses because of this. And this is very easy, very simple to go down the truth-laden path, and that is, you're all morons! Anybody that is saying the idiotic things about Derek Jeter that I consistently hear over and over and over in my head, you're a moron. Okay, and why is this coming to light now? Well, Derek Jeter's back on Twitter. I know ESPN has something planned for mid-July. I think July 18th. It's going to come to Derek Jeter 30 for 30, but the documentary, it's kind of like what they did with Jordan. They're having that come out, and now all the Jeter haters come out of the woodwork. But it's not people saying, oh, Derek Jeter's overrated. All right, you can kind of stomach that ridiculousness. It's not people saying, you know what, I didn't like him as much as, okay, listen, that's your opinion, is what it is. It's the statements that are pure idiocy that I see repeated time and time again. Things like, if he didn't play for the Yankees, nobody would know who he was. Things like, oh, if he played for the Pirates, he would be nothing. What kind of moronic, idiotic statements are those? Just that. So I want to go into strictly, I'm trying to stay unemotional, don't know if it's going to happen. I'm trying to stay strictly on a baseball level playing field. First things first, the big thing that everybody kind of throws out there is WAR. Well, he was a bad defensive player, and he's got a lot of gold gloves. I know gold gloves is generally one of those, we're going to give it to him kind of awards, but he wasn't a butcher out there. And you can look at the WAR and defensive WAR metrics, and he's a bad defensive WAR metrics guy and all this. Well, how is David Ortiz's defensive WAR? I'm waiting. Because David Ortiz is universally said, well, you know what? He's a Hall of Famer. He's a DH. Okay? Derek Jeter was just fine at shortstop. If you watched him every day, he was just fine. I know Michael Kay says that a lot as well. But if you watched him day in and day out, he was fine. I'm not saying he was great defensively. I'm not saying he was terrible defensively, because he was neither. He was just fine defensively. And I love that people go, well, you know what? A-Rod should have played shortstop and Jeter should have moved to third base. No, absolutely not. Derek Jeter was the core of that team, and at the time, that team chemistry meant something. We're not in an analytical age where we are today, where people are looking at their players as robots. But let's get back into the numbers, okay? And into the numbers, I can continue to go, and I could talk to you about the postseason heroics. And yes, postseason does matter in a player's career. And Derek Jeter getting there, well, he got there because he's Yankee. How about the Yankees also got there because of Derek Jeter? This goes hand in hand. You can't bash Tom Brady's success because of what he did with the New England Patriots, and you can't bash Bill Belichick because he had Tom Brady. One goes hand in hand. Derek Jeter propelled the Yankees to championships, just like Derek Jeter was helped out by championship Yankee teams. Okay? He was a superstar. Every year of his career, he was known as a superstar. He was the face of baseball for a very long time. All of this doesn't really matter, does it? It doesn't really matter, because what we have to do is we have to talk about how does he compare overall numbers-wise? Because baseball's a number sport. If you look at Derek Jeter overall and you just look at his career, he's an easy Hall of Famer. The championship rings are there, the intangibles are there, the fact that he was on the Yankees, the fact that he was the face of baseball, it's all there. But people want to talk about WAR and all these nonsensical kind of things. Okay, let's get into it. Let's get into stats. You want to talk about stats? Okay. I think Derek Jeter is the greatest shortstop of all time, but I'm willing to say he's only in the top 5. Is that overrated? Top 5 all time? No, it's not overrated at all. His final numbers are unbelievable. Let's just talk about the playoffs. 158 playoff games is what he's played. Basically, that's an entire season, right? 4 games short, took a couple of days off, we'll say, to relax. So, in 650 at-bats, again, a regular season number, he hit 308. That's not Hall of Fame, 308 in the postseason, 308 during a regular season, 308 postseason. Oh, you guys don't like that, right? Yeah, we don't like the batting average stat. You got to go with all these random new stats. How about slash line at 308, 374, 465? How's that? How about 32 doubles, 20 home runs, 61 RBIs? How's that for you? How about 7 AL pennants and 5 championships? How's that for you? Or you don't like championships? Okay. How about when you break it down, all-time rankings, 6th best all-time batting average all-time at shortstop. 6th best all-time. So I said I'm willing to say, okay, he's the top 5. I think he's the greatest ever. I'm willing to say he's the top 5. 6th best all-time batting average, 8th best OPS, the most hits, 4th most doubles, 5th most home runs, wasn't a home run hitter, 8th most RBIs, 1st in run. You love your WAR, your defensive WAR. Overall WAR, 10th all time in shortstops. Derek Jeter is getting the moniker of being overrated. That's what people say. Oh, he's overrated. He's overrated because you don't like the Yankees. You don't understand the sport of baseball. Maybe that's what it is. Because you can't call somebody that ranks in the top 10, dead in the top 10 in every single category, and most inside the top 5 in every single category all time in 100 plus years of Major League Baseball at his position. How do you call that overrated? That's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous argument. Now, I'm willing to sit back and tell you that Honus Wagner was better. A lot of people tell you Cal Ripken was better. I think it's debatable. People will argue Ernie Banks is better. It's debatable. So he's in that class. You want to throw A-Rod? I think A-Rod was split because he was a third baseman. So I'll throw him in there. Okay, I get it. We're talking strict numbers here. Robin Yount might even have a competition. You got about 4 or 5 guys. You do. But the thing that gets me is the way that Jeter is attacked. It's not he's overrated, he's pushed up. Well, no. The line that gets me, that's repeated often, and not just by trolls on Twitter or idiots on Facebook. No, it's been repeated by actual sports broadcasters, by people that just hate on the New York Yankees and hate on Derek Jeter. Here's what they say. If Derek Jeter played in another city, you would have never heard of him. If Derek Jeter didn't play for the Yankees, you would have never heard of him. If Derek Jeter didn't have all those World Series rings, you would have never heard from him. First of all, he didn't, and New York eats up a lot of people. Second of all, he propelled the Yankees like we went over. Right? But how about this? Have you heard of these guys? Have you heard of Pete Rose? Have you heard of Ty Cobb? Have you heard of Hank Aaron? Have you heard of Stan Musial? Have you heard of Tris Speaker? How about Honus Wagner, Carl Yastrzemski, Albert Pujols, Paul Molitor, Eddie Collins, Willie Mays? Have you heard of these guys? Because that's who's in the top 12 among all-time hits leaders in Major League Baseball. Derek Jeter lands 6th on that list. If you haven't heard, if you think Derek Jeter playing in Pittsburgh, we would have never heard of him, then you certainly would have never heard of Tris Speaker. And you certainly would have never heard of Albert Pujols. You certainly would have never heard of Paul Molitor or Eddie Collins, Willie Mays. Why? Because Derek Jeter is 6th all-time in hits. You can make the compelling argument, and many have, that the most important thing to do as a hitter is get a hit, right? The hits leader. Home runs are fun. Yeah, sure. Driving in runs, obviously, that's the key to the game. And scoring runs, stealing bases, Ricky Henderson did it really well. OPS, we get it. On-base percentage, new age WAR, all of that. But the general hint in all of Major League Baseball, when I sit down and I coach 8-year-old kids, I go, get a hit, man. That's what you want to do. Go get a hit. Derek Jeter did that the 6th best all time. If you don't think and you don't believe that the guy with the 6th most hits in Major League Baseball history, we wouldn't have known his name, he wouldn't be anything, he's overrated because he's a Yankee, you don't know what you're talking about. If Derek Jeter never hit a home run, he's a Hall of Famer. If Derek Jeter never won a World Series, he's a Hall of Famer. When you get 3,465 hits, you become a Hall of Famer. Forget about all the outside noise. Forget about all the championship rings, which you can't forget about, but forget about that. Forget about the fact that he played for the Yankees. Forget about the fact that maybe you think A-Rod's better. Forget about it all. Forget about his bad defense. You want to call him bad defense. 3,465 hits, ranks 6th all-time on the all-time list. You would have heard of Derek Jeter, and Derek Jeter would be a Hall of Famer no matter what. So we could stop the Jeter hate. Now that he's on Twitter, okay, it's all going to come up again. And I'm getting out in front of this because in about a month or so, all of a sudden the Jeter hate will come up again because we're going to watch a great documentary put out there by ESPN, and you're going to hear the Jeter hate come back up there again. And all you have to say is 6th all-time in hits. The end. End of the story. I don't have to bring up the World Series. I don't have to bring up that he was a superstar. I don't have to bring up the Gold Gloves. I don't have to bring up the catch or the flip or the play. I don't have to bring up any of it. All I have to say is the man ended his career 6th all-time in hits in Major League Baseball. That should end any conversation with any one of these morons. All right, guys. I'm sure I'm going to get some comments below. Please comment below. Like it if you do like it. Make sure you comment below. Like it. Tell everybody. Subscribe to my channel. And go check out TomBartonSports.com and Tom Barton Sports over on Twitter. Have a very good day, everybody.